I'm just going to kind of be his voice a little bit.
Yep, that's fine. All right. Come on in. So we'll give it a couple more minutes to see who else shows up. Feel free to pull the tables down, but my words could only go so far. So I'm gonna switch views here. Let me see if I can. I'm not sure if this will be better or not. I'm right here. So maybe what I'll do is tuck it. Hang on. Is that better?
Yep.
Now you can see everybody.
Yes.
Okay, so let's just go around the room and do introductions. Hi, I'm Elsa, East Boothbay resident.
Hi, I'm Allison Evans, Boothbay Harbor resident.
I'm Valerie Young. I work at Bigelow.
Great. Glad to hear Valerie. Just unmute and go ahead and go around the room. Maureen
I'm Pauline Dion,
and Rob.
East Boothbay resident.
I'm Trish Warren, Boothbay Harbor Selectman.
And hi, I'm Rob Trotta, and I'm the project director for New England Aquaventus.
Okay, do you know if Philip is coming this evening?
Yeah, I'm looking around the corner. I know he should be. I hope he's all right. I know was to be there. I hope he's okay.
Yeah, he didn't say he wasn't coming. He's usually if he.
Oh,
can't,
he's coming. Yeah.
he'll say.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
hope he's all right.
You know, we planned a 2-hour meeting this time so we could hopefully go through all the stuff. Tricia said that the school superintendent is unable to be here tonight. I will say Trish was wonderful about sending CMP contact. I started an email and haven't gotten any further just because it's been too busy. So, you know, we knew that might happen. But hopefully we can have most of the details done, at least in terms of looking at the matrix. The survey, I did get a survey draft done, both in Word and in SurveyMonkey. And I know there's a postcard draft done. So, and Allison Soroy and I also worked on the matrix for, here she comes now, to make a one-page version that is for the general public. If they want to see the working documents, of course they can, but most people don't want that level of information. So take a breath, it's all good.
As long as you're okay, that's all that matters.
Yeah, so we've got Allison Throy just arrived and Phil Thompson. And now I see if I can rearrange the camera to actually get everybody. I can't see both at the same time, so that's close, but not quite.
Just a little bit. That's good.
There we
You
go.
might-
Thank you for the help. I'm gonna move everybody up here. There we go. Is that better? So this will work until I go sharing stuff on the screen. So what do people want to work on first? I was going to give the superintendent the floor first, but since he can't be here, Trish, would you like to just share what he shared with you?
Sure. I'm kind of going off of the email, so it's going to be, I'm just going to give the information out here. He said that he was thinking of potential ideas based on health and safety, and he's come up with a few thoughts. One, educational foundation gift to support the study of alternative energy and also to monitor in real time the energy created by this project with a dashboard that students and community members can access in real time. Two, he has a gift to assist the school to access local alternative energy and to address infrastructure, health, and safety concerns. If the project doesn't pass, we have transformer located within the high school in a student area. For one example, we need to replace internal water systems as well as some fire protection systems in the near future, all health related. Let's see, what else did he say? If the project is passed, there, he's referring to the school, just an FYI project. He's not referring to your project. If the project is passed, there's a lot of site work to be done. An additional gift would certainly help us provide additional parking and increase public access to facilities and grounds for recreational use. He said he could get more specifics on those types of projects and their costs, but he wanted to see where in line with the spirit of the grant.
Okay. I couldn't catch most of that, but we can use the recording to go back and use it to fill in on the.
Okay.
Is there an email, Trish, with all this laid out?
I can forward it out to the group.
Just to mail maybe, or to translate into the matrix somehow, or so we have it
In his
Yeah.
words.
in his words, yeah.
Yeah, I can just kind of like copy and paste what he sent for those two options,
Right.
and send it to the main email that we have, the BBH community.
That would be fine, Trish.
Yep.
And that way we can plug it in.
Sounds good.
All right. So thoughts about anything you'd like to share about those school thoughts? Sounds like some good ideas. Everybody has good ideas.
I know that Bob has talked about, you know, alternative forms of energy in general for the school, because they want to be sustainable with this school, you know, with a new build, or even if they don't do a new build and they just do renovations, he wants to become more and more sustainable. And it's a big part of their project they've been focusing on with their architects. So even if this isn't, you know, for if it does pass at town level and whatnot, I think he would like to have a relationship with Aquaventus anyway, just because of that sheer fact that it's a opportunity that he would like to explore. So I'm just pitching that in. So
Okay.
Yeah. And Trish, Rob here. This is the superintendent. Is this gentleman?
Yes, he's a superintendent. His name is Robert Kahler, Kahler.
Okay. I'll make it a point to get myself in contact with him for any other reasons that we could be supportive, you know, with it.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. And then holdover from our last meeting, we missed you, Rob.
I missed you all as well.
Last-
I do have an action item, I do believe,
Yeah.
from the last.
Yep,
Yeah.
that would be great.
Would you like me to go
Yeah,
there? So
Lord.
sure, thank you. I do understand that. Sorry. So yes, I took the action from the last meeting. I understand that the working group is at the point in your process now where understanding the potential amount of the community benefits agreement would be very helpful at this stage. I'll give you there you go. That understanding the amount of the potential amount of the community benefits agreement would be very helpful at this stage of your analysis to help refine your filters and understanding how you might progress with it with the recommendations. So I've taken this to the New England Aquaventus board, and we've had multiple discussions over the past actually a couple months on this topic. And I'm very pleased to inform you all that the project is willing to support a community benefits agreement up to $1 million to move forward.
Okay.
So with that, I mean, we're enthused about this. We hope that this could be. We look forward to progressing forward with the get to a point of an agreement. I understand there's still several steps this must take as far as your recommendations and then getting to the select boards. But we're looking at investment in the community benefits agreement for health and safety measure up to $1 million.
Okay. And so I have a couple of questions based on that. Obviously we have a number of different options that we've come up with. And I'm not sure how to ask the question, but it doesn't need to be a single item. Can it be several items and then have other partners in potential so we could leverage? So some places, if you can get a matching fund, you're going to get more bang for your buck. So instead of doing one project, you might do 2 or 3 and leverage that money so that you get the greatest effect out of it.
I think that we could be supportive of any measure that to get the, as you put it, the biggest bang for buck. So if there is a roadmap or the recommendations come out to be joint funds or ways to make this a bigger contribution to have even bigger impact, we would definitely entertain that.
Okay, I think that's an important piece because as we've done a lot of our investigation, there may be ARPA funds thinking for water, talking to DOT, they have community improvement funds for specific things, some of which were on our list, so that we might be able to stretch those dollars further and do more of the projects that we've selected.
And to follow up on Nell's question, if we were to establish a community fund, like I guess we would get into the details of how to do that. So if we had pieces and parts of different options that were ranked top 3 priorities in the community to distribute that 1 million, could we potentially do that through a community fund first and then distribute it so that, or does, is there some, do you see where I'm going with that? Because I think that there's one of those options on our matrix where a community fund, but perhaps that's the vehicle by which we distribute to the other different projects or something like that. Does that make sense? Would that be okay? Would that be amenable to Nia in terms of, would it have to
I don't think, go ahead.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of an administrative question. But in terms of distributing the 1 million, would that be something we could just, would it be easier to ask for that or and then distribute it to the different projects I guess that's a discussion we can have today. And distribute it to the different priorities that the community picks, or like Nell said, it might be 1 or 2 projects with different parts and pieces. I guess that might, the devil's in the details, maybe.
I mean, I think,
Do you know where I'm going with this?
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah,
very,
and so-
very.
so the community benefit agreement, the formal agreement would be negotiated with select boards. And they would make that decision.
Oh, that's true, right, okay, yeah, that's right, I forgot that piece of it.
But that, to be clear, when the select boards make the ultimate decision on that, I mean, we're gonna obviously have to have, we want to make the decision right for the community. And so the survey is really important to know what the majority of the people really want to do with it, so.
Right. And I guess, well, when we get into the matrix, I'll show you why this is kind of getting a little, I'm a little bit confused because maybe we need to take the community fund option out of there. I don't know, or leave it in.
So the community fund option was if there were no projects that came to the fore. So let's say the community said, we want a community fund to address health and safety issues, but we don't like these issues. We want time to decide what issues we want. And so it just is another mechanism for doing the work, but it doesn't give Nia the opportunity to say, we participated in a community partnership in this project or this project. So part of it is, what is the goal of Nia other than providing support? I get that. But on the reverse side, do you want to say we were a partner in year-round water to underserved areas in East Boothbay? Which is very different from saying we donated this amount to a community fund. It's a whole different PR piece.
I understand the question. Just that I don't think that we're at this stage right now where that should be a limiting factor, of how, if we should stick with how you all believe and the feedback that you receive in your communities, the best way to utilize the funds, and I think that that should be our driving factor at this point, and that we shouldn't limit, we shouldn't be limiting that. If the approach is that it's about a committee that's allocating funds through to health and safety orientated causes, that is an administrative piece and it does take some administration for that. But if that is how this group and how the select board would prefer to move forward, that we would have to address that, at the later in the process.
Right.
So once again, I wouldn't limit, I wouldn't maybe make that, having a PR piece being the limiting factor for what might be the best for the community at this time.
Okay, well, that's absolutely fine. And so one of our questions, we have a community fund as one of the potential benefits that could be decided at a later date as opposed to one or more of these projects. So one of Allison's questions is, do we take that off the matrix? Is that an administrative technique for managing the money and therefore not one of the potential options? And you said something, Rob, that would make sense, and I wish I'd captured it.
I think we don't. I think that could be an actual option.
Yeah.
That someone can vote on in the community as part of our survey. It sounded like that's what I heard.
And we also will have, so when we do the survey, we will also have so you can make comments or other suggestions. So we're not closing the door on the potential. We're gathering what has come forward so far, but then the survey will have an open-ended text box so people could say, well, wait, what about this? So why don't we go? Thank you very much, Rob. Appreciate you are conveying the news and the generosity of NEOP. So this is, important and valuable, and we want to make sure that our thanks get back to everyone. Trish?
I just was thinking about this as far as select boards are concerned, and this group and the survey and all together. Would it ultimately make sense to have it just automatically go into a fund just from the start, and then using those surveys, take the money from those funds?
And I guess that was my question.
Right. So that is.
Is that what you're saying too?
Yeah,
That
that
is
was
one of
kind of
the
what I was trying to, yeah. But maybe let's look at the matrix first and then decide, and maybe those who are more familiar with municipal government can chime in on that. Because, maybe going through the process again, of where we need to take this when it eventually goes to the town, and then.
So from an administrative perspective, Rob, if there was a decision to do electric utility improvements and there had to be a partnership with CMP, is it easier? This is a logistical question, but I think we all want to just kind of get to where we understand it before we move forward. Is it easier to have a community fund that's administered by the two towns? The money's gone on into there, and then the towns make the agreement with CMP about whatever work is being done, and NEAB doesn't end up playing monkey in the middle. So this is, it's a logistical question that we want to be able to present the information to the towns when we present what we get back from the survey, so that the towns have clear direction and don't have to, do what we've been doing here.
I understand the question, but I do not believe that I have enough understanding of the process in which you'd have to take locally to set up and to manage that. I think when there was a couple meetings ago, we had this discussion about ease of execution.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's something that y'all, I don't know if it's one of your criteria within your matrix, you know, but I think that's something that you should really consider is, you know, I think it is important that we show a benefit. The project wants to show a benefit, you know, to y'all, to the community, you know, sooner than later. But I think, you know, in the ease of execution, you know, the number one is having a project that we commit to and support. But as I already said, you know, then if you add another layer about receiving matching funds, et cetera, that's not out of question or as still an opportunity, but it would then take additional execution and time to get there.
Right.
What is the best way about putting this as far as setting up a fund or how that would be done exactly and managed? That would take some further exploring.
Okay.
I don't have the answer.
Yeah, and that's fine. We're not, but we need to raise the question and start that piece of the discussion.
It's valid. Yeah.
So if the electricity improvement was burying the lines at the same time you're burying the cable, and CMP said, yes, this is great, but it's gonna cost this much. And let's say it was $750,000, just to pick a number that's less than $1 million. And the town said, yes, we're for this, the community was for it. And then, you know, that process would move forward, whether the funds came directly from NEOB or whether it came out of a community fund, depending on the timing of when it all had to happen. So where the money comes from is an administrative piece.
I would leave that administrative piece as a detail that would need to be understood, that would have to be set up. And I don't think I would question as to whether or not you would need to present how that would actually happen to the select boards at this time. I think that would, as long as you know the funds are there and that you can find the most efficient mechanism to do that, I think that might have to remain open at that time. My suggestion to y'all.
All right, thank you. Valerie, you had a question.
I think to Trisha's point about, do we just say we want the community fund and bypass all the matrix options altogether? I think you have a lot of really good projects to present, and I wouldn't take those all off the table at this point.
Oh, no,
Now
if it was
without
your
survey.
intent,
So, well, I think she was saying, do we just skip all these projects all together and make the community fund first, right?
No, I think that it was, do we just sort of have all the money go to the community fund first
Oh,
and
okay.
then.
Okay. And then distribute it based on the projects that are. chosen.
Exactly. It was a matter of just waiting, basically taking in the funds and then waiting to see what the voice of the people was in the end. And then after that, that's how you divvy out the funds from it's basically just a holding tank for the funds.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I'm familiar with community funds and the trick is gonna be who's on the board. You know, you have to create a 501c3 or a vehicle, some kind of, you know, tax exempt vehicle. And then you have to have a board, and the select boards have to say, we would probably have to appoint them. So it's a process.
Okay,
all right.
I mean, that's
right.
part of the information that we need, just like we've been gathering information
Right.
about everything else.
Okay.
So if we use the East Boothbay water as a simpler option, because we were given a dollar amount, we were told that the water district could go ahead and do it. So that if the water district said, we're ready to go, you know, December 1st and do this, we need this much money.
And I do think the water district guy said, you know, matching funds
Yeah.
would move
It would move it up.
And so that's a leverage.
Right, and matching funds would be not that they necessarily had to apply externally. So they have to do some infrastructural work as part of just running the district. So if that were the case, and they said it's gonna cost, I don't remember what he said. It's in here somewhere.
400, I think.
Yeah, so let's say $400,000. And they said if we can get 200,000, we can move this up. Then NEAB we would put in a request to NEAB for the 200,000 to go directly to the water district. We're just trying to understand the financial piece of it.
I'm interested to see, with your simplified matrix that you guys have come up with. Are we presenting all of these kind of grainy details to the public? Like, should we ask them to care about the ease of effort or not?
So this will be the discussion right now, because we talked about that, and we want to have two versions of the matrix, one for the public, one for our grainy
Hang on.
discussions.
See if
And
I
then-
can move it and still keep it shared.
Yeah.
There. Can everybody see that?
Yes.
Okay, we just can't see you guys right now because we've got this up on the screen.
Okay, good. Do you?
Yeah, good.
Do you want to just go through each of the different things?
Yeah.
Rows
So let's
or
see, we've
columns,
got-
actually.
Sewer is the first one. Sorry about the scrolling.
So the idea is, even this is almost too much, we think. But this would be the link, this will be linked, a link in the survey, so people could go click on if they wanted more information. But each of the top column or row one is the, in the survey, check the box, like check by priority or whatever. And so they can then click on the link and they'll get this, which is more discussion or more description based on the different categories we chose that we thought would be important. So, and that's something we wanted to discuss with the group to see, is it too much? Do we need to get rid of those? Do they care? We won't get rid of it completely, but it'll be just a version for the public to look at of the most important things that they might want to know. So,
If people want more detail, obviously they
Yeah.
can look at the working documents. They can come to the meetings.
so yeah, we have
But
this.
most people don't want that much information.
Right, we have this overview and then we have tabs with even more specific grainy detail for each of the different columns.
That's amazing. Like such a massive amount of work that you
Yeah.
put together. Well, it's just
It is.
wonderful.
So if this is the line, 3 is the line that the public is gonna be the most interested in.
Yeah.
And so, these are really the things that are available. School improvement, I think, is the last one, and then the
That we
community.
need to add to. Yeah.
So these are the things that are out there. I will say that the platform technology fee is not actually it's not really within this. It could be an ask, but it's not it would be a benefit where there was the equivalent of a royalty on
Right,
the platform technology. But it's not like a dollar thing or something that gets built. It would be a revenue source coming in to say offset property taxes for people.
well, I think with
So-
everyone here and the matrix has changed so much, let's literally go down through each column and each category.
You go.
And like, you guys can listen, give feedback for each of the one, and then we can go from there, so. I didn't bring my last. All right. Yeah, so the first column, sewer expansion to East Boothbay. And the first row, like category for that, is timeline to implementation. And we said 3+ years, and some of this we guessed at because we weren't real sure, what to put in there. 3+ years is what we put. And then the description is new sewer line expansion from East Boothbay for East Boothbay residents along the cable route. Future extensions possible for Bayview, Bayville, Tallwoods, Murray Hill, Lincoln Street, School Street. Long-term public safety and health benefit, septic overboard discharge removal for water quality improvements in the Mill Pond, Damascotta River, and Lincoln Bay. increased opportunity for development in the East Boothbay Village. The next cost estimate for this would be exceeds 1.5 million. So that would, the next column, or actually a couple, if you can scroll down. So exceeds 1.5 million. I know a lot of you are reading along, but for those of you who can't. Let's see, residents who benefit. Residents along Route 96 cable route, Bigelow to substation. That's the immediate. Other municipal state facilities required, the water district and sewer district would have to be involved. Additional funding required, yes. And then ease of execution, difficult. Additional funding and installation process.
Both are difficult.
Both are difficult. So those were the categories. So yeah, there's, let's see, 8 of them, nine different categories that apply to each one of these things.
And my thought is that the public wants a description. And that's about it. I mean, I'm interested to hear what other people think the public will want to see.
Yeah, well, let's start with just this. What do we think?
I agree with Nell. I think a one line, you know, if you can get a one line description, you'll get, you know, the rest that you can get deep, you can keep going down the rat hole, but
Okay,
you know, and people will. And
Yeah.
that's good. You know,
Right.
you want to show
So-
that you did your homework.
yeah, so keep in mind that maybe this, remember, this is gonna be a link that only people who want to know some of the more details will go to. So for the survey, for the prioritization, like 1 through however 6 different options, along with the sewer expansion to East Boothbay title, we add that description piece in the survey so that people can read what we're talking about in terms of prioritizing. And then the link would link to this matrix that then they can look through the rest of it if they're even interested in doing that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you're gonna have to see how it looks, you know, formatted.
On the survey.
And, you know, the description will be in the
So the
space.
current survey, I'm not sure if you can see this, did it transfer for you all?
Yes.
Okay, so this is what it looks like right now. It's very basic. And I was very careful to either use the exact same language or just expand a tiny bit to make it easily understood.
So can you put that description that I just read in, like, under sewer expansion to East Boothbay Village, colon, description? Does it have room in Survey Monkey to do that?
I can't answer that question, and I don't know if it will kick me out.
You know, you know, the shorter the space, the more you have to say with each word.
Totally, yeah, and so, and then we can, but do you
So
think,
if
okay, I guess my question is that enough for people to vote on?
And
Or prioritize that, just having the type
hang on, I'm gonna try it right this second, so bear with me. There is.
I mean, maybe we cut out
You
some
need
of
to,
it.
yeah, you need to edit it, but it
Yeah.
probably could work. It would be in a smaller font, I think.
There. I think that looks pretty.
Well, hang on, let me save it. Let me save
I
it.
don't know. We could certainly simplify it. But the whole point of that matrix is like.
Where it has more description in it.
Allison.
Yeah. So so if you look at item number 1, which isn't numbered, but the first item, is that still readable enough? And there may be the potential to put it on a next line, so you just have the heading or bold, and then, right, so.
I mean, so you could have, you could either underline or boldface the
The primary,
The primary title, and then just have that brief description, because that captures what we're talking about. really.
right, yep.
Yeah.
So how does that work for everybody? Thoughts from the people on Zoom?
I think it looks okay.
Suggestions are welcome.
I know we're going to get to this later, but we were going to talk about setting up a website. And I think that one of the things you could maybe preface this survey with is if you want more information before you answer the survey, you could put a place where they could click on and it would bring them to a link.
Yep, so here's more information about the project, you go to this. More
Yeah.
information about potential benefits, go to this.
Right.
So it's already built into the survey here.
Good, and bold facing that
Yep.
is a good idea.
Okay,
I just remember a lot of people these days don't like to read a lot, so you have to keep it really, the cover page really simple so that they can, if they don't want to go, they don't go, but my 2 cents.
No, I agree with you. I think that's a great addition to it. So
and then if the register has an article about it and about the process, we can use the register link, which will be more friendly to some people than looking at an Excel file. Other people are going to want an Excel file, just depending on how their brains work. So.
I can also maybe get something up at the town on their page as well.
Well, yeah, and we can distribute this link and the link can go anywhere. The link for this survey can go on the town website, it could go in the register, it can go, on anybody's business website or whatever. So
Is it too much information?
I think if we edit this and we make this bold, so let's try it. And then we'll see if we can put that on a new line. And now we'll save that. I just want to do one as an exemplar and then it can get done later. So how's that?
That's great. I
So-
don't think that's too much.
So that way, if you only want to read what's short and sweet, you read what's in bold. You want a little bit more information, you read what's under it. If you want more than that, you go click on one of the other ones.
I haven't done a lot of this. How about people that have done a lot of this too? So, what do you think?
Yeah, no, I think you're on the right track. I mean,
On the right track.
Look, pioneers are the ones that, get shot in the back. So,
Here's the preview.
yeah, so I think you're making, look, there's no doubt that the homework supports the, volunteer work that's been put in, and that's what makes small towns go in a certain direction. So
Well, we're just looking for, we're looking for the most,
So
the
this is what it will look like
high percentage of people doing it.
on a
That's what we
tablet.
really want for, this is what we.
This is what it will look like if it's on a phone.
That's a lot.
It's
So
a
you're-
lot for a phone.
And you're asking them to prioritize those.
So yeah, you're picking what number.
Got
So I'm gonna make it, that's my first choice.
And you have a sentence there saying, yep.
Rank these possible benefits.
who's on Facebook and social media? That's the way, I mean, that's a really
Yeah.
important channel to get covered.
It is. And, I think there's some Boothbay pages, there's the registered page, people have personal pages. My business is out of state, so that's not applicable.
Is this gonna limit the number of responses a single individual can submit? You're gonna do it like to submit an email address so that, oh, you've already submitted this form?
Usually, so, I mean, you could theoretically submit more than once if you're using different addresses, like home address. But typically, it just restricts it to one. Automatically.
Survey monkey.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it does have a way to limit. Unless
Yeah, I
you
think
want to
that's
really
setting.
go around it, you probably could, but
We're not gonna worry about that.
I
No,
don't think so.
Because you could take an iPad to the Fall Foliage Festival and get people to.
Walking around and get survey, people, talking to people and doing that kind of thing.
yeah. So the big question, I mean, so that's one question, how do we get people, get it out? But does this format work for everybody? If there's,
Now, I just have a question, and you probably answered it. When you say for more information about the potential benefits, please go to add link to matrix. Where were you going to put that link?
it's a Google document, so you just put the Google Doc link and you tell Google that anyone with this link can access it. So it goes out to the public and it can go anywhere.
Okay.
Yep. I just didn't put the link in. I could only focus on one thing at a time.
So with each of these options, there's no comment box? Are you going to build in a comment box in the end? I didn't see it.
There's a box here for any
Okay, all right.
suggestions or comments.
Okay, great. All right.
Yeah, we don't want comments on each benefit.
Right.
Yeah, I want something that we can get clean prioritization, and then any other comments we can then quantify. But if we got comments available with every benefit, we're gonna get a lot of commentary, and that's what this is not about commentary. It's about just pick one. I don't want to make this more complicated. I want to get on the other side of this, to be quite frank. So,
Is there a certain number that's a goal of responses that we want before we shut it off and say, we've got enough?
so that's a great question. So I don't know if everybody heard, what Valerie's question was. Whether we want a certain number or whether we're gonna do a certain time frame. So for those of us who've worked in municipal settings, getting the number you want is rare. So a time frame is probably more realistic. I think having the register be part of this is going to be important so that we can show due diligence at making every effort to reach out to the community. And then having the links for the survey at the town website will be another step of that. And then, of course, you know, anybody who's on social media can share links. And that snowball effect of sharing links is really one of the most effective ways. So if you said, hey, I did this survey, let me share the link with you, and somebody else does it and says, oh, I'm going to send it to 2 more people. That is actually one of the most effective ways to reach the community. The equivalent of word of mouth.
Now, I don't see anywhere where you reassure people that this is a confidential, anonymous kind of survey. Am I just missing it? Because people are going to look for that.
Well, there's no place that they put their name or anything.
Okay. Well, okay.
You know, it's a link. You click on it and this is what you get. There's no personal information collected.
I guess with my experience with Seeing Science, we always put that statement in there, though. I think that's important for people to see that. That's my only suggestion.
Or just, yeah, just to state it, you mean, Pauline, even though we're not asking for anyone's name or anything, it's just a nice thing for people to feel like
Right.
it's confidential, even though it might not be. Or right, it is.
No
Right? Unless you know
personal-
someone's IP address.
How about no personal information is collected?
Yeah, something like that. I think that's.
And I'm
That's
wondering, so, yeah, I wonder if there's a place to just put a thank you at the bottom. I don't want a new question. Yeah,
When they complete it, there should be a way on this tool for it to automatically generate a thank you. And once they submit it, it should come up with a thank you.
right,
Yes.
that's the part that I'm looking for, that I don't know,
It's SurveyMonkey will do that automatically, I think is what Paul's saying. It'll say, thank you for doing the survey.
okay.
You should be able to edit that text somewhere, but
Yeah, that's what I was looking at it going, okay, so I'm gonna go back to the preview. Because the preview should just says done, it's just gonna go to done.
So I'm wondering, so Rob, is there a way, because you guys have, you said you'd help with advertising and things like that? The postcards?
My apologies, I was muted. I was talking to. So yes, I did, the offer still remains, you know, if we could work with our outreach people, if you need any assistance, you
Well,
know,
I was just thinking of maybe asking your outreach people to, I don't know, do we want some professionals looking at this just to give us some feedback on it, maybe? On the survey? Yeah, on the survey.
And a postcard, I mean, or.
And a postcard, I mean, is that something we could utilize your outreach people for?
most definitely.
Okay, because maybe that would be good for them to take a look at this and say, yeah, this is too long, you know, they can give us some good feedback. Probably.
Suggestions.
Right, suggestions, because we want it to be effective and they do this for their jobs. You
Right.
know?
We can make that resource available for your,
Sure.
yes.
So you guys are gonna have a lot of,
Well,
you know,
good.
local knowledge to bring
Right,
to
and
bear, but, you know, running it through a PR filter is good,
I
you know.
think, yeah,
good
that's what I
idea.
mean, yeah, just the PR filter, and then also, I would also suggest that before we run with this, I was thinking of asking, maybe we should ask the town managers to take a look at it, or someone at the town level to say, you know, look at the matrix, look at the survey and say, you know, do they have any thoughts or things that we might have overlooked here before it goes out? You know?
Well, you don't want them to
Yeah.
not validate the responses because, oh, we forgot to.
Right, I think it'd be important for, I guess it would be Dan and Julia, right, the town managers to take a look and just see if they have 15 minutes to say,
Well, and
do you see any issues with this?
And they may want, so, from a project that I'm working on at the state level, because of who the funder was, it had to go to DHHS and have a DHHS approval on.
Yeah,
So
I mean, like-
having a statement that says,
yeah,
you know, the towns of Boothbay and Boothbay Harbor support this work,
yeah,
may be important, or put their logos on it. So that's the thing about engaging with them, because they may say, yes,
right,
we're the ones who are gonna make the agreement, so we want our
Yeah.
logos on this to show that we're part of the process.
yeah,
So-
Trish, think
Yeah.
that something,
I know,
Yeah, I'm gonna have to talk to Julia and she might have to run it through legal. Where it is two towns involved.
okay,
I mean, like when we had JEDC, we had an understanding and an agreement. It was actually like ran through legal and everything. And so, you know, we each town had to appropriate funds for the, you know, joint economic development. And so we did that for a few years but it had to go through legal and we had to have the right paperwork for everything. So two towns are gonna have to have some kind of legal documentation, I imagine. Which is fine. That's not impossible. But we would have to, I can talk to Julia about it. And if you can send any of that extra bells and whistles so she can review it as well. And I can also send it on to, because I'm vice chair of the select board, but Mike Tomko is the chair. And perhaps we could have him get involved on this. And then, like I said, talk to the other towns and so on, so we can get it done and get it done right.
right, so,
Yeah.
so when you're talking, Rob, about a community of benefit agreement, is it a single agreement that both towns sign on to?
I think the vision is that it would be a joint
Okay,
agreement.
so I think-
But the instrument, but we're not, but that is only in concept, right? I think that might be the easy, but Trish is spot on. you're gonna need some type of agreement between the two towns, if not already, that would allow that action, right? So even if it's not, if it's questioning, if it's reviewing the survey, or even entering into the agreement, that's highly likely that if that doesn't exist today, it will be needed. So Trish is spot on with that. Yeah.
So I was just talking about endorsing, reviewing and endorsing the survey. Are you talking, Trish, that we need to go through legal? Each of the towns need to do that to put their insignia or their logo on the survey and review it?
Not necessarily for the reviewing portion of it. I don't believe it's when you get down to making the agreement if the two towns are going to
Yeah, we're not even.
jointly work out the funds. That's where legal needs to get involved.
I was just thinking about getting the survey out and making sure that the town is okay with what we're saying and that.
Aware of it.
And they're aware of it, and that, and yeah, having both logos potentially on it to say, you know, that makes a big statement. But
Yeah.
that's all I'm talking about. Yeah, that.
But that raises this whole question, which will have to be addressed, so that will be proactive in giving them time to
Yes.
start getting it addressed. And to start figuring out how to have a joint agreement for whatever it is that happens, right?
I mean, we have many joint agreements between the two towns. So it's not like we haven't done it before. We just have to lay down exactly the ins and outs of what both parties involved wish to, you know, put in and take out, if that makes sense.
Yeah, expectations.
And one of with the big news that Rob gave us that we know the amount, maybe that is something we want to add to the survey information to say the gift, you know what I mean, actually, so people know what that amount is. Because we didn't before. That could simplify things, I guess, is what I think in terms of the introduction of what these things are, like that we're proposing. Because before we didn't really know the amount. And now we're saying this is the gift, this is the benefit amount. So here's how we're trying to figure out how to utilize it.
Right.
That
These are
really
the options to
simplifies the
use it.
message, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So what are your thoughts on that, Rob?
I'm sorry?
What are your thoughts on including the dollar amount in the survey to say Aquaventus has agreed to provide this?
Yeah. We're public right now, yeah, so,
Okay,
yeah, that's not opposed to that.
Yeah.
I would just phrase, you know, that's, yes, we're in public, we're in the public domain.
okay. Offering a community benefit package,
You know, up to $1 million.
yeah.
I'm not sure if if far as reviewing the survey, you can let me know, and I would be happy to engage, you know, our resources, you know, for that, our engagement team. But I'm not sure exactly if you would be able to give somebody temporary access to it. I'm not sure you could send it in draft form. Maybe you could. I don't know enough about the platform.
So
Yeah.
I have it in draft form, in Word, and then I've done screenshots. So that it
Oh,
just
perfect.
as images, so it's not difficult to do.
Perfect. Yeah.
Total computer.
If you,
Yeah,
if you,
that would be great, Rob. I think we should utilize that expertise. Or, yeah,
can do.
yeah.
And we want to make sure that the language on the survey is consistent with the language on the postcard, so that, you know, it's obviously a package. And that everything fits together and is giving the same message.
Yeah, yes. It doesn't have to be that different even, you know what I mean? How we say it on the.
Shouldn't be. Yeah.
Should reflect exactly almost the same in the survey, then people remember
So,
repetitive stuff.
yeah, and, okay, so any other comments, questions, or other stuff about the survey or the matrix?
Yeah, we didn't really go down through each of the different, do people want just a final, here's what we're proposing, just to know? on the matrix. We did add some things.
Do you think it would be possible to share that?
Everybody
With
should have
the-
access to it.
Okay,
We had
Yeah, I
sent-
do think,
We had sent the link, you haven't, you've not.
Yeah,
been able to
exactly.
access the
I don't
link?
know the link.
Because well, the link went out, but it's, it's probably in an email.
yeah.
Because
it's
everybody
very-
was given access to the whole Gmail, the whole, drive. So all the notes, all the everything, that everybody has access, but, and I thought we put them on the last, not the last, but the minutes before that. But I may have forgotten.
nature.
Yeah, from my perspective, at least, it would be great if you could resend that so
Yeah,
I
yeah,
can
right.
distribute it to the town.
Yep, and I have had, this is where I get confused, so my brain works so well and then it doesn't, so I want to share, let's see, shared. And it is shared with everybody on this list. All right, so I'm gonna, anyone with the link, I'm gonna copy the link, done. And I'm gonna send it to everybody on the list.
Oh, and you got my email. I can see it.
There, yeah, okay, so I think it's this one.
In that folder though, the matrix is not there.
Oh, it's not?
No, it's just the notes, or it's just Word doc.
Okay, it should be here, so, there it is there. So the drive should be shared. So,
Click on that Excel spreadsheet and see, when you open it, you should be able to
see
if
whether it's shared, but
Yeah.
yeah, because I wanted to share the whole drive, because this is all for everybody. It's already open, so it's not gonna open it. All right, so, that's. Let's see, it's just gonna open it again. Oh, I'll just go back there. Hang on a second, my bad. Oh, what is this? And I share it. Anyone with the link? Anyone with the link? Yes. Copy the link. Let's copy, done. All right, so I'm gonna send everybody the links, and let's see if I reply to everybody. Link to matrix.
Is it editable by everyone?
To
No,
notes.
I don't think we want that. I mean, not that people can't, it makes the job, but too many people in it.
Should be like the app, make it like so that it can only like comment.
Yeah, I can't tell you.
With that share button, if you open that again.
Yeah, it's just about sharing it. It's not about who.
Anyone with the link is a viewer.
So I'm the owner and
Okay, so-
Allison is the editor and everyone else is a viewer.
Okay,
And if you click on that drop down, you should be able to have
Yeah,
a commenter. I don't know. if
Okay,
you
that's
want
what we want.
Comments
Yeah.
on the matrix, or if you wanted to email you comments.
No, on the matrix.
there we go.
Work off of that. Yeah,
Alright.
and definitely, I was wanting people to take a look at it and give some good comments, because we looked at it a couple times, I mean, and we've been working on it, but it's always good to now bring it out. It's a little more tight.
Share, and I'll do the same with this for comments. This is something new to
And
me,
some
so
of the
thank
things
you.
we just guessed at, and to the best of our ability, so.
So thanks for your patience while we're doing this. But
And now that we'll have to fill in the school request and the school
Right.
stuff, and we'll add another worksheet for the school with all the details.
okay. I didn't send it yet, Valerie.
Okay.
So just if you're looking for it, you won't see it quite yet.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yep, I appreciate your help with that. That was great. Hopefully I'll remember it now. So do people want to look at the rest of the matrix here? You want to go on to the postcard because we've got the postcard and it's 5:59.
I think we should read the description of each
Okay.
of the things so people understand what we're asking for, because I think it has morphed a little and changed a bit and.
We
So-
tried to simplify the language.
Right. And there are a couple questions, so, do you want to read it out loud? Because, no?
So this is road and traffic improvements, new sidewalk, bike path with associated parking areas on either end from substation to Bigelow, with accompanying improved traffic and public safety solutions for the East Boothbay Village.
Cut it.
That one might be a little bit long.
Yeah,
We could probably cut that one down.
We
We
could
could leave it like
probably
that in the
take
matrix.
right, but take out the whole parking stuff and just put new sidewalk, bike path. And improve traffic and public safety solutions.
Or we could put that in and then we could give it up to the experts to say, how do we want to
Yeah,
minimize it?
okay, year-round waters, expansion of year-round water supply in the village of East Boothbay. Particularly in areas affected by saltwater incursion. So it's replacing some people with wells with year-round water because those wells have been sucking salt water with the severity of this drought
In future droughts.
and future
So
droughts.
hydrologists call it, saltwater intrusion.
Okay,
with a T.
intrusion. We'll fix that right now. There we go, got it. Done. All right. Electric utility improvements was to improve the electricity infrastructure along the cable route, and actually it was really about burying the cable
Yeah.
so that there's less risk of losing power in the winter.
Varying electrical lines, not the
Right.
cable, right?
Yeah,
Right.
the electric cable.
Yeah, when you said the cable,
Misunderstood, yeah, thank you.
Did we write that in the description?
No,
Okay.
And when you get down to ease of execution, this is off the charts. difficult.
Oh, it
oh,
is.
it is. Again, we
So
haven't had
what
a
did we-
conversation with
What did we
CMP
put
yet.
down there for ease of it? Like this, we said
Uh,
easy legal complexity. No,
No, moderate bearing lines, difficult substation upgrades.
okay, yeah. So this
That
was,
looks like we were in another line now.
yeah. So this was something that,
Okay,
I had a question about in terms of, so there was burying the line, the electrical cable, electrical lines. And you say that's difficult because of line.
Well, I mean, so you went to DOT, right? And you talked about, you know, got
We
some,
talked about
Yeah.
easements of the right of way.
yeah, and had a really good discussion with them about the sort of, some of the things that would need to be involved with the bike lane. Did you have that kind of in-depth, you know?
not yet. We
discussion on
haven't been able to
CMP?
coordinate it.
No.
That's,
Yeah.
I mean, because that will, you will have a good idea about, it won't be sort of, anybody that drills down into that is gonna find that it's very difficult and expensive, because DOT hates to do this.
Okay.
I mean, anyway, but you should have that conversation
Okay.
with a local DOT guy and just,
And this-
because that's the homework that you've done on every single one.
So we were gonna
which is
have the
really good.
conversation with CMP. You're saying we need to have it with.
CMP, I misspoke.
Okay, okay, so that's why I'm like,
So
Sorry.
that's okay.
if that's the case, then how is the cable going in? So, like, and the cable's going in from, it's coming to Bigelow and the cable's going into the substation. How is that different than existing cables being buried also?
Because there is a lot on the poles. And so there, you know, there are a lot, they lease the poles, so,
Okay,
you know, getting their cable down and, you know, it's
Yeah.
very labor intensive.
Okay, so
Got
we
it.
need to update the difficulty status of
Yep.
the ease of execution for that one.
okay.
So this is the kind of stuff we need a little bit, because we didn't get to CMP, some of the things we haven't gotten to
Right.
yet.
Yeah, anyway, that will, as long as you'll cover your base, if you say,
We're just
Yeah.
gonna say
complex
period.
and expensive.
difficult.
And so the cost estimate would be over 1 mil.
I would, you know, you're asking me, but.
Yeah,
you're asking me.
That is a point I wonder about with this matrix is,
How accurate is?
yeah, and
It's
do
all
we
guesstimate.
misrepresent things
right.
based on inaccurate guesses?
Right.
And if that's the case, should we just exclude that line because we don't really know?
If we could say to be determined, ease of execution, we don't know.
I wouldn't want somebody to look at the matrix and be like, oh, this one's easy, so I'm gonna vote for it.
Right, right. Yeah,
Yes, that's a good point.
I mean, yeah. If we have a good sense of all of them, then we keep it in, but maybe,
so in
You've been
talking
advised.
to DOT, putting the bicycle path sidewalks is going to be a challenge. Putting in the traffic safety parts of it are easy and not terribly expensive. Other parts of it are more difficult simply because of the narrowness of the roads. The bike path, some of the challenges, the right of way and the locations of the right of way. So that there's different things make it easier or harder.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
That was, ease of execution was something that's, it might have been Rob that brought up that we should have in there, but maybe we should. Again, this is just canvassing the public to see where the interest is, and then we've got to get into the detail of whatever the top two. or
yeah, I mean,
three
sewer
are.
sounds like it's easy. But it's not, you know, you're running a sewer line,
And then
how
you can
hard could that
answer it.
be, right?
it's complicated.
All of them.
Right, you could,
Yeah.
right, but,
Okay.
I mean,
So I want to keep going with the descriptions, so we get the descriptions right, and then, because I want to keep us moving, because time's going by. Everyone else want to get home for dinner. Okay, the platform technology fee. So this would be an ask of the group to NEAV, to add a rider onto whatever licensing it is. So this was an idea that came up early. It's not my idea. I'm just conveying the information. And so, you know, something that was the equivalent of a royalty on the sales of the platforms, that it was attached with the licensing of it.
When you mean, would you, I'm not sure I understand what this is relating to. When you say I understand license agreements but to the platform, I'm not sure. I know what it means in this
This
context.
is an experiment to see if this platform works to the desired expectations. If it does, and then it was manufactured and sold, then if it was attached to the licensing, then there's a percentage of the revenue generated by selling it would potentially come to the town. So that was the concept that was presented. We put everything in here, so that's why it's in here.
Sure. The project would not have the ability to give the technology. Thank you, that's helpful. The platform is actually University of Maine's platform, and it would not be in the project's remit to be able to bind any royalty onto that platform.
Okay. So that answers the question. So it's their technology, but they're not gonna sell the technology. They might. Like if NEAV was gonna go ahead or,
They're going to, they might commercialize the technology may be commercialized, but it's not up to the project.
okay,
Does not have the rights or the ability
yep.
to
okay.
commit any royalties or license fees to the
Okay.
University of Maine.
Thank you. That language is very helpful. And so if that is the case, then we should take that out of the matrix that gets presented to the public, because it's not.
I think it's very creative. I think it's very creative, and I think it's neat. But we wouldn't have that ability to execute that.
Okay. And then school improvements, we'll need to work with the language that the superintendent said to come up with something for that.
I would say that if they stay on track with their, because they're gonna bring it to the voter, whether they do a full-on project or whatnot, they are shooting for May of 2023. So I would say for the vote.
Okay.
Right. But the thing is that even if it doesn't get past the voter, I'm sure that the school has plenty of things that they could use the funds for that would fall in line with the health and safety factor. So I don't know what you would want to put in that line for the school improvement part, the timeline to implementation, where it's at least what is this, 6 months or more, maybe a year plus, I guess is what would be the best thing to put in that line. Because if it goes to vote, you have till May at this juncture.
Okay, so. Yeah, I'll put 1+ year.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it. Thank you, Trish.
I mean, we can
Yeah.
also put a disclaimer on this matrix too, that states, this is to the best of our ability to
Right.
determine these things. Yeah, we can actually put something on there, but we also don't want to mislead the public in terms of like,
Yeah, I would say just put a line that goes all across where 2 is, add a line and just put a disclaimer right there, right up front to say this was developed by community members to guide the process. And these are all estimates.
I like that. Yeah, I think that's appropriate. I mean, we've done our best to ask the experts and, but again, this is to narrow down, get us a sense. Now that we know how much funds will hold too, that's very helpful, you know what I mean, to know what Mia's offering. So, yeah.
And also on the line where you have for the school long-term public safety and health benefit. I mean, I don't know exactly what, because it depends, because he gave a couple of ideas,
Right.
but I would imagine that you could at least put in there that if it depends. So like if the project had something to do with the water and sanitation type stuff that's at the school for the safety purposes of the children, I don't know exactly how, because there's those 2 options. But I don't want to have it left blank either.
Yeah,
Well, we
well, I'm gonna
won't.
put it, it's just gonna have a placeholder for now.
Yeah, like the upgrades and sustainability really doesn't fall within public health and benefits, but I'm sure we can come up with something, Trish, that we can
After, yeah, 'cause-
throw your way and say, what do you think of this?
right,
Yeah.
okay. Rather than take the platform technology fee out of this right now, what I'd like to do is make a copy document. And then take it out of the copy document, so we have the old document, and then we have a new one that's got a different date on it.
We could just hide that column right now.
Oh, yeah, anyway. All right, so any other comments about the matrix before we move on?
Community fund.
Just one quick one is under the electric utility improvements, I believe you're both right. The counterparty is CEMP and it will be Maine DOT. Right?
DOT.
Okay.
Yeah, because it will be both. If that, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Mhm.
Oh, and the other thing I wanted to bring up was, for the electric utility improvements, one of the things that came up was upgrades to the substation as part of this. So maybe, varying the lines was the smaller piece, and the bigger piece was doing upgrades to the substation somehow, putting money into that so that, you know, when they could handle more stuff coming into the substation in terms of, you know, and handle more use of electricity on the peninsula. And I don't know what that would cost, but I know that's a big one, but yeah, it is big, I know. But maybe we combine or cable, you know, burying the cable, we abandon that and say just upgrades to the substation instead.
This is why this conversation.
With CMP has
With
to
a
happen.
CMP person is.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
It will inform you of what you.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and I just could not get to it. So I, you know, Trish was very timely in getting me a name. I started an email, but there's just. it's
Maybe
been
I can
busy.
do that. Maybe I can help with that and just actually have a sit down. I talk with a CMP.
You know, and
That I can probably pull that together pretty fast.
Okay,
And DOT, actually.
and I had a great conversation. with
Oh, right.
DOT, So that's,
So that-
that's good.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
one other question, Rob, real quick, is have you guys set the cable route?
unfortunately, no, the answer is no, not at this time. So exactly where it's going, we're working through some additional reviews. And we needed to retain, in the process of retaining some additional parties to review and give suggestions.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right,
Okay, and the last thing was the community fund.
yes.
So that was the start of this conversation
Right.
and it was just to,
So we have to initiate a community fund for future projects to improve health and safety of the community. So that it would have that health and safety criteria, but if, you know, if Neav said here, you know, we're moving along and you guys are still dragging your feet on your projects. And we're like, yeah, but we want the funds because we still want to do the projects, but everything's taking longer than we thought, like everything does. That there was a mechanism in place, but again, it's a placeholder for a mechanism if we're out of sync with Neav.
To me, that option says, I don't like any of the other options, so I'm choosing this one because I think some future idea is gonna be better. That's like why I would vote for that.
Uh-huh.
is that a good thing?
I don't know if that's what you're intending.
I
It
think
doesn't
that,
sound
I
like-
think that's what people will do if they look at the other and go, well, that's not what I want. And then they're likely to put comments down below about, well, we need this.
Yep.
We need an ice skating rink.
Yep.
We need
Mhm.
sidewalks to get finished going from the Y to Clifford Park.
Only the field hockey field.
Or,
Field.
you know, the school needs new plumbing.
Yeah.
Or whatever it is that are people's concerns. So,
So do we want to keep that or just, I mean. You're right, I think that that's actually probably gonna get the most votes.
I see the look on your face, Rob.
I'm sorry, am I showing my colors?
Well,
I think that this is something we could work. I've been through this in other communities,
Okay.
in large scale projects. And I just seen this become very, very problematic in communities.
Okay.
It's the judgment call, you know, the have not, who's deciding. This might be your preference and I can't tell you not to bring it forward, but I can say in my professional experience, I've seen this become very divisive in communities.
yeah, we're not looking for that.
Maybe we leave it off and they can write, people can write it in if they think of it, if they think of it.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine. That's why I think having another document that we take all the stuff out, but we keep the working documents. I don't want to have to go back and look through version history. I'd rather just do a copy of this and it's our clean one as of this date. And we take out all the things we've said to take out.
Yep.
And that way, if we wanted to go back for some reason. and
No one's
recapture it,
deleting any of this.
right,
Yeah.
but we want to make it so that no viewers can see anything. if we're gonna take it out. So thank you for that feedback, Rob. That's very helpful.
Do you want to do like an other?
Ooh, I think
Yeah,
that-
there is.
We have that in the survey already.
I think that's the same issue. I think people will be like, other, I don't like these options.
Well, we're not gonna.
They can
include
write it in.
Right, it's in the writing.
Yeah.
It's not
That's
in
what
the select.
That's the.
Yeah.
That's a good setup.
Yeah,
They
okay.
still prioritize what you offer.
Right,
But then they,
right,
and then you can see a trend. There's
right.
A write-in
Yeah.
ballot.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna take out this. And we're gonna delete that, and we're gonna delete that. All right, so we'll go to save. There we go.
All right.
So that makes it much easier to read. There's fewer options.
Yeah, and electricity improvement, we really gotta, yeah,
Well, we'll have
Look
to talk to
into because-
CMC and we'll have to quantify whether that's anything that's feasible to include.
that's kind of ironic if we can't do anything with that. To be honest.
I would be,
Yeah,
There
Uh,
must be a reason why nobody else has very capable stuff.
they would, yeah.
So there's a few places that have buried cables. They go like buried cable.
yeah, but that's a private,
Right,
but not
yeah.
a public road.
no, not on a public road. So, you know, but then we can at least show that we've done our due diligence and, okay, these were the things that were on it.
Right.
And if someone says, well, I heard that this was on it, it's like, yeah, it came off for the following reason.
Do
So,
you have a contact at CMC?
yes,
Okay, good.
yeah, I
That's a
started the
good thing.
email and I just never got
You
it.
know, just didn't have the capacity to do it all.
It was not.
It's gonna be a lot.
Okay, so. I was gonna
But it
say-
also, because you're already in the process of tearing up a road, I mean, it just makes great sense.
It does.
I know, and that's why I want to talk to DOT and CMP, actually. It'd be good for Mel and I to talk to them, actually.
Let's try putting it up on there. Ah. And I'm gonna just set that so it gets out of there. So, and then. Allison. Meeting notes. I don't want the meeting notes. I want the,
So I can send it to
but you
you.
sent it. I thought you sent it.
Postcard?
Somebody sent the postcard.
The language to the postcard.
I thought you sent it. Why am I not seeing it?
So, I
Okay.
went to the,
I'm gonna stop
I
sharing
saw
right now.
a draft of that, the postcard and,
Yeah, so you must have sent it. I have a draft.
I've been sending it back and forth with Colleen and Dave. Oh, good.
Okay, so.
Do you
this
guys
is what
want to
we've come up
present it?
with.
Yeah. Do you guys want to share and present it? Should I send it to you, Sue?
You can, yeah, you can send it and I can put it up.
Go Allison,
Yeah, you can do it, Allison.
let's go.
All right, am I sending it to Boothbay?
That's the easiest. Keeps my email cleaner. I don't want my lives to be entwined. There's too many of them.
One of the things when I saw the draft that I saw, which is probably a earlier draft, was go to the NIA Boothbay benefits page, and I thought it was really nice, nicely done. Is that going to be something that's linked on the Boothbay on the postcard? I guess is my question.
We did not have that on there.
Okay,
Um,
if it's on the survey, I think that could be enough too. But
I'm
So
gonna
that's
open
that.
it. Yeah, hang on a second. Download it. What is that? Oh.
I'll send you the picture.
It's coming. Hang on, be patient, please. What is it? One little postcard. There we go. So here is the draft language. Oops. There we go. This coming back.
You know, again, it would be great to have the two logos on the postcard.
Yeah.
That's it, the
The
town.
town.
The town logos, yeah, so,
So
yeah. Definitely. And I think we want to call it offshore administration project. Or. That would be this.
Would this be something I could take with me as well with the outreach team to provide suggestions?
Yeah, I assume so.
Yeah,
And it would only be suggestions.
Yes.
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, on here we added like a potential website because we were talking about having a centralized place to grab all of the documents. That's the main website right there. And then
So, I wonder if, we could actually have it. They already have a Boothbay benefits page. Yeah. What we can have it put about what goes on that page. So instead of one more thing.
Do we want to be autonomous though? Is I guess one of the, I think a lot of people have feelings about that.
I understand that.
I'm putting it out there because, you know, you have a great page and I think they're doing a lot. Cooperate and collaborate here, but definitely sensitive to like, you know.
We're the one
I mean,
to start it, run it and all that
This
stuff.
project, fine. Things are happening, no matter what. Trying to figure out. Yeah,
Well,
and
and hopefully people can get the information that they
that's all we
need.
need. That's all we need.
Right, just to make sure that. So Rob, just for, to ask. What's the potential if this group said, can we include this, and this on the group benefits page that NEAP has? So let's say.
I'm sorry, it's breaking up a bit. I'm having trouble hearing.
Okay,
Look back.
here, let me mute. Yep, I know why. There we go. That should be better. So would it be possible if this group said, we want to add this, and this to the Boothbay benefits page that NEAP has? You know, if there was something that they wanted to make sure the community had access to, rather than starting a separate community web page. So that's a question. You don't have to answer it right now. I assume you'll have to find out that information.
so the matrix and all the notes and all of that stuff would be accessible.
It would be linked, right?
Whether there would be a link to the,
It could be a link to it.
Yeah, I was thinking.
So
I don't see where this has anything to do with, I mean, I think has to do with us.
it does, but it was a question. It's fair to ask a question in the discussion process.
It may be also another ask that you make of the towns.
To make it available at the town website.
Right.
Also, or, well,
I
so
mean, just,
we're asking for
yeah,
yeah.
I mean, this is.
exposure, basically.
This is a public process that you
Yeah.
are,
Yeah.
you are, you know, serving as stand-ins for
Right.
people, man and woman power that the town doesn't have.
Right.
I don't think it will be an issue, like I said before, to post this at town. For both towns to get it out there, I mean, everybody that's on my board and the Boothbay board is all about transparency anyway. So if we can get as much information out to them as humanly possible, we're absolutely for it, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'd have to agree with Pauline, maybe just a little, is that at the end of the day, this is a town process, you know, and I think that when we started this, I think we tried to make sure that we understood that line between the two. We want to support and help facilitate, but I think that it would be would be cautious of. And I think it might be better to keep it separated, if we could.
Yeah, and that's fair. We come to that conclusion by asking questions though. So,
Of course. Yeah.
and so then the question is the town better served by the information being on the town websites or there being a specific website? And if so, who's gonna manage it? Who's gonna do all that? And that's really the key question I'm thinking about.
Well, you've been talking a lot about the Boothbay Register, and so why can't this be part of something the Boothbay Register talks about? I guess I don't see why you have to have permission to go to the town to publish a postcard. I guess maybe I'm missing something.
I think we're talking about calling the website that we would direct people to see the matrix and to see the back stock of information that we're gathering here. Where
Right.
do we want to point people? Is it a new website that we have to create, or can we utilize an existing platform?
Right, because on here, there's a placeholder for a website. And so the discussion was about whether that website would be in existence or whether it would actually live somewhere else, or if somebody's gonna start it, who will start it and maintain it. So that was mostly what we're talking about, Coleman.
Okay, well, we researched a website and I contacted the webmaster for the Boothbay Scene Science Center. And he's willing to set up a homepage and to get 2 domains, which are both the .org and the .com. He doesn't think that the BBR, sort of web email or address really attracts people that quickly. I mean, he doesn't think that that's well understood, but he's willing to do all that for $500 and to maintain it for six months. So I'm throwing that out to everybody because Allison and Dana and I met on this, and we're trying to figure out what's the best way to get the word out and get people connected, so on and so forth.
It's been hard. I mean, I've had a hard time accessing my Google Docs. Like, that's not something that I have a lot of experience with. It's not something I do. And, I just worry about that part of it. I want something really simple where if you can just, the notes from this date, that all, going through all of that stuff, just having it really like a document that you can just dig into.
I agree. I mean, I didn't realize that you guys had done all this research and that there's actually something in the works. I mean, that's great. I'd be up for, I think that's positive. I think we should do that. That's my vote.
I don't have a strong feeling one way or the other. as long
Willing to
as I don't
maintain
have
it for
to
6
do
months.
more
I
work.
mean, who knows how long we'll need it for, but at that point, I don't think we'll be gathering more information. We just need to keep it live.
Right.
So I have a question for you. The group as a whole, have you thought about doing a actual news article at like having someone from this group be a representative and, answer some questions in a news article with the Register?
Yes, the goal is hopefully by the end of the meeting tonight that we wanted to have the matrix, the postcard, the survey done enough that we could do a news article and that article could actually include the link to the survey.
Okay,
I don't think we're quite there yet, but that's why we had the longer meeting this time, so we can really push this forward. So we're very close. We're just not there yet.
Beautiful photo. Phil, you had something?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I've got a son who is flying to California tomorrow, and so I want to have dinner with him.
Yep.
Time. So the action items, we should list the action items from this meeting, but
Right.
but Nia's action item is to have the comms to the communications team review both the matrix and the survey and the postcard language. And we'll get back to you. And our next meeting is October 6th.
Which is 1 week from
Right,
today.
a week from today. Great. Thank you.
Yes,
You guys are awesome, truly. You're doing really, you're doing God's work.
and she's proud. Yeah, and reaching out to CMP, following up with,
Well, wait, I want to hear from the postcard team,
All right,
all the things you guys did, because I guess I'm getting little snippets, but I'd like to hear like everything that you've worked on and like where you guys stand right now and what you want to do with it.
I mean, well, at this point, I mean, the wording that we've done, I mean, we had a meeting, we went through, how, you know, the basics that we wanted to speak about, and then, we started to really, you know, we really were like, we need a website, and so Pauline took that and ran with it and did a lot of research, and Dana,
She
you
just asked her web guy, just asked her the question and so it was that's all it was. Really.
okay,
There was not thorough research into it. I asked Bigelow's web guys about it, and there are options for hosting that could be cheaper if we want him to set it up and design it, and then, you know, keep it for 6 months, and then if we want to keep hosting it somewhere cheaply, we can maintain it maybe that way. But that's the extent of it, right, for the website.
and so one of our asks, Rob, would be to have NEAB cover the cost of that. So, you know, cover the cost of the postcards, cover the cost of a community website.
So I think we've, as it comes down to the postcard and to the review, I've offered that already, and we will continue to do that. So we would be more than happy to do the review, and we're more than happy to cover the postage and execute for the actually conduct the mailing. I forget, there's a term they use, it's the door-to-door. I'm not really getting it, but to cover that cost, you know, of that. I question as to the, I could raise it if you want to know about setting up a website just for this activity. I'm not, I guess I'm struggling a little bit of getting understanding the actual complete benefit of that and how that, to be candid, you know, I think you have a survey set up, you're going to be notifying everyone via via postcard, and then how a website would help facilitate your end result. I guess I'm not really seeing a clear line,
it would
to
be
be
one
candid.
where people can go to see absolutely everything. They can see all the notes, they can see links to all the YouTube videos that have been recorded. They could see the matrix, they could see the simplified version of the matrix. I don't know, I just think it would be a nice thing for someone to just go to this one page and be like, all right, this is where everything is, you know? And it's, so when people are filling out the survey, if this is for the people who really, if they really want to dig into it, they can.
It's simply a depository. It's simply a resource. It's not for any other use. One page.
All right, I'll let me can we follow up with this one? Yeah.
So Rob, can I just send you the details that I received from the webmaster on what he would
Pauline,
do?
that would be very helpful.
Okay.
Yes. And then I will take the information and I will take the task to Jackson to follow up.
And he also said, you know, he would keep it to the page and, you know, monitor the maintenance of the website. So.
If you can send that along, I would definitely take it and review and report back.
Perfect. Thank you.
Can you send the picture? Yeah, I'll go look. So comments about the language, the proposed language for the postcard.
Do you want to read through it?
Oh, the PCIM, yeah, that's it.
I hate to interrupt, but I'm sorry. I don't mean to interrupt, but I do have to go.
I just have to add on the website page, the webmaster feels that BBY doesn't really attract people. It's just not a great address. And so he would just suggest that we do Boothbay, you know, community benefits rather than BBY. Was his only suggestion.
Okay. Any other suggestions while we're here?
Yeah, should we be using the term, I guess it's the question for Rob, is windmill the term that we would be identifying this project with, or should we be saying wind turbine or demonstration project? I mean, I'm just curious what would the appropriate?
You can't go wrong with the demonstration project, and you can't go wrong with New England Adventist, but I'm going to leave it to the experts that have been managing all this work to say which one in this context would be most fitting.
Okay, and that will be during the review?
Yes, you'll have any of our comments back, on that as suggestions, I'll post that on that response, which I think we could do fairly quickly.
Okay, great.
And then here's the image for the postcard.
I took out the East Boothbay on it because I just thought it's more than just East Boothbay. And
The people getting this know what that is.
So I don't see Monhegan. It would have been nice to have like Monhegan in the background and like a superimposed
windmill.
wind turbine.
I know. It would be nice to know where it's gonna be.
Well,
because we
that
will
would
get-
that would say a lot without even reading the postcard.
I know.
But I don't know if
Do you
It's-
have mock-ups of it?
It's 22 miles offshore.
Yeah,
So
well-
it would be very, very small from that view. So
I thought it was 12 miles. Why did it?
Monhegan is 12 miles, but then it's off
It's
from
farther.
Monhegan.
It's okay from Ocean Point.
But that would kind of be a nice, I mean, it would catch people's attention, but I'm not sure how your group is gonna feel about putting words over a picture like that. I mean, that might be something they are like, well, one side could be the picture and the other side the words. I don't know, like sometimes that can be a issue. I don't know.
But if people just see that, they're likely to turn it over to see what the heck it's about.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because-
that's a face cover picture. That's like the front.
Yeah.
So this is one side and the other's the
Yeah.
on the other side.
It would be nice though to have like a superimposed, here's potentially the wind turbine from this distance in East Boothbay. Do you guys have that?
no, I do not. I do not have a rendering at this stage for that. No.
But
So-
it's not, I mean, is it the view that's the concern?
No, it isn't. But it would be, yeah.
You know,
Something
just
you're gonna see.
information that we've all wanted. Yeah, we've never had.
Okay. So,
It's not supposed to be divisive. It's actually supposed to be like, this is what you're gonna see and this is what we're talking about. But
but I think we need your feedback is enough of a stimulus to go turn the card over and go, what is this part
Yeah.
about?
yeah,
And then the text on the card. So my one question about the card is where it says survey can be filled out online here would be a link.
So obviously on a postcard, that is not, you can't literally link it, but I thought we will be utilizing the register. So in the register version of this, there might be, that could be a spot for that. And then that would be where we would put the Survey Monkey
Okay,
words, lingo. So you could,
okay, so that, but the here would be a link.
it would be a link. Yeah.
Okay. But if it was mailed, what would it say?
That's what I would have the Survey Monkey.
Link.
Yeah.
Okay, so people could type it in
Yeah.
if they wanted to.
Exactly.
Right, it's gonna be on the website page. Is what it's gonna be on.
The link would be on the website, not the.
Right.
Well, I mean, I was
Oh,
actually thinking the Survey Monkey link would be right there. So
Yeah, like.
people could, if they wanted to, and then they could also go to the website. It would be like a direct line to right to the survey.
does the Survey Monkey give you QR codes?
I don't know
wonder
the answer.
'Cause that would be really nice to be able to like literally have your postcard and QR code with your phone.
Yes, we need to do that. I bet you we can.
I bet you can too. Yeah, probably.
I don't know the answer to that.
In a short web. site.
Allison can do anything, just give it to her.
I don't know.
So Rob's group is gonna get back to us, give us some feedback on the matrix, the postcard and the survey. Then we need to make those changes, and then we're meeting next week. And then, from there, we really should, some of their feedback's probably gonna be put the town logo on, so we're gonna need to pull it, we're gonna have to need to set up a meeting with Dan and Julia and the town to let them go through the final versions of stuff, right? So should we, they're busy. I wonder if we should be thinking about seeing if we can set that up, that meeting up. I don't know, Trish, what's your recommendation in terms of?
Is Trish still here?
Oh,
She had to leave.
yeah, I'm just thinking, because
Oh, I can't get back. There we go.
maybe
Yeah, she
we
had to
can
leave.
do that 2 weeks from now, you know what I mean? Potentially set a
1 week
date.
from now.
Well, that's when we're gonna meet
Oh,
to finalize everything, and then after that,
Right.
following week, meet with the town to really finalize things and get it out to paper.
and get it out. And so we really need a drop dead date, that it has to go to the paper, that the survey will be live, that, you know, that we can work backwards from to make sure we have all these things done.
So what do you guys think about following through with Pauline, with the website? Having our own website, we should keep pushing through with that, right?
It's really a question, I mean, in my mind, it's a question of the cost. So, you know, I'm not at liberty to share expenses on this. I share my time, that's as much as I can afford to do.
Yeah.
I do a lot of volunteering.
Yeah, you do. I mean, it would.
Maybe we can like on our email asked, like put this out there, say we're trying to, you know, come up with a website and it's going to cost us $500. These are the details, and see if people will help support it. I mean, I think it's a really important thing.
I have a hard time believing that either Bigelow or Nia won't just pay for it.
Well, and, you know,
I mean,
so, I mean, there's all kinds of questions that come
Not
up
a lot
with
of
that,
money.
so.
Or maybe we'll have a donor that really is interested in maintaining it. I mean, I don't want to take time here for
Right.
that.
Yep.
But I think it's important enough, and I'll dig for
Okay.
somebody.
Okay,
Rob, I'll be emailing you.
we'll see what we can do.
I'm sorry.
That's okay, no, it's all good. Okay, so that's the website, the postcard, we need to tidy the matrix. Make a user-friendly one, transfer the language to the Survey Monkey. And have all that done by next Thursday.
Yeah,
Talk
I'm
to
gonna set up,
CMP.
yeah, I will set up a meeting with CMP and DOT, the contact. I think I can probably pull something.
Are we meeting next Thursday?
Yes, because it's the first and third. This was an extra meeting to try and push this forward. Because we'd like to get through this to the other side and get it to the towns. So we can stop meeting this way.
Right.
I'll do what I can on the responses within a week, but that'll be dependent upon the timing and availability of some of the teams. So I just want to manage expectations. I'll do what I can.
Yep, same
make
for
sure
all of us here, Rob.
Okay.
And, you know, that's all we can do is what we can do. We had hoped to have things wound up by tonight, but again, you have to aim for the stars and settle for the earth sometimes.
Great,
And
and,
I
then just
think-
going.
and I think, Rob, you guys are still in process right now with getting all your permits, so it's gonna be some
It's-
time. We put ourselves in an arbitrary deadline where we really do have more time, but it's just our own time, like,
Well, and
in getting this figured out and done.
yeah. And so speaking of deadlines, does NEAB have a timeline at which they would like to disperse the funds? So.
So that has not changed. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
So yes, has not changed. It will be upon financial investment decision. So the project has received all its permits and it hasn't been invested, and it will move forward. And that still remains targeting sometime late next year. Is it October, November of next year? So, we do have, still have some time ahead of us.
Okay, great. That is helpful. And I know the process with the towns though can be slow. Because they will ask for public hearings if there's anything that needs to have a vote. And then if there's anything that needs a vote, it's only Boothbay and Boothbay Harbor, so they both need vote later in the spring for their town meetings, but everything has to go back about 8 to 12 weeks for publishing, for holding public hearings. So that's really the time frame that we'll be working with. Is if anything has to go to a town vote, we need to work backwards from that. So really, we want to have things wound up so that the towns have the time they need to come to agreement with the, and then if they need to put things to the voters, that they have time to put it on the town meeting ballot and meet all the requirements for public hearings. Which means we should have everything to the towns hopefully before the end of the year
Oh, yeah,
to give them that time.
yeah, we should. I think maybe, October, end of October.
There's hope.
If all of this.
But think a deadline might be like before Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Before holidays.
That's what we're aiming. I mean, we're aiming to have all this stuff ready in early October. So now we'll just move it to mid late October. But we're making progress every time. We're making good progress every time. All right, anything else to go on the to-do list before we wind up? I think everybody's out of steam.
Yep.
I'm going to say thank you very much for attending. I will post the video when it's done and send the link as usual. And we'll be back in a week. And hopefully we'll have made progress on this to-do list.
Thanks, Now.
Thank you.
Thanks
Thank you,
now.
everyone.
So
Have a
now,
safe evening.
everybody have a good night.
Yeah, take care.
Cheers.